Can you do a vampire nail set that's spooky and gothic? I sure heckin' can. In fact, this is my default when I'm not making content, so let me show you my comfort nails. In other words, nails that I know I'll love and have never let me down, unlike most men in my life. I've already done the base for the other nails, and it's all the same, so I'll show you how I did it if you want to follow along. First, a dark base. I chose this deep wine red color because I'm going to do a cat eye on top, and cat eyes have a richer color when done on a dark surface. And because I'm going vampire, I gotta go red. One coat isn't enough, but two is just right. I use a very fine particle cat eye from Sage Bio. If you want a glass look, go for very fine particles like this. I find that larger particles that look more like glitter reflect light more, but I'm going for a smooth surface shine, so finer particles it is. Magnets and cat eyes are something that I'm still not entirely good at. Usually I just wave that magic stick around until it feels good, and when I'm satisfied, I flash cure it to lock it into place. I tried to focus the particles on one side only, so when the light isn't hitting it, you can see the deep red base beneath, and yeah. After I cure the cat eye, next I go in with... Yep, you guessed it! Your mom! I go in with black gel and make a border around the nail. I used a long liner brush, which is handy if you also shake a lot, and that's this base done. For the red nails, I just add an extra step, which is to go in with my favorite red jelly of all time. One coat isn't enough again, but two is just right. And I did this for every nail, give or take a step. If you want an effortlessly dimensional nail, I really recommend getting a good silver cat eye. It gives the nail depth, and you can DIY jelly polish for a variety of looks. But if you're balling on a budget, mixing any color with clear gel will work just fine for the purpose of today. I chose to go in with a fishnet pattern on the pinky. Very simple, but it was actually, weirdly enough, not as easy as I thought it would be. I don't usually do diagonal lines, so it turns out doing a straight line on a curved surface is a little wonky, but I think it turned out all right. And we're back. Whatever you saw before this, no, you didn't. Anyways, I'm going to do a mascot on my thumb. I feel like every time I have a project advisor, everything just goes way smoother. So we're going to do a little ghosty on our thumb. I'm just going to do a general flowing white shape of a ghost body, like stereotypical. But we're going to try and do some other little details with him, like a flowing little robe. This is actually more difficult to do upside down than I thought it would be. Not by a lot, but by enough that I notice that there's a difference. Okay, so onto the pointer nail. I was going to do a metallic silver spine, but I just remembered that I knocked my powder off of my table onto my carpet. No silver chrome for me, but I think I'll just go back in with my cat eye gel and just use it, but not magnetize it, so it'll just be silver. It's kind of not as cool, but I mean, I feel like for the purpose today, it'll work. I'm also debating whether or not I want to make it 3D or flat. I feel like I want to make it 3D because I really love texture. So I might go in with some of my Supui gel. Are you really not going to roll out for me? Okay, whenever it says non-stick, it really means non-stick. You're really not... You're so funny. I love this gel for this specific reason, but I also hate it because of this reason. Jeez. This is the spine for if you have scoliosis. This one is for my scoliosis babes. I love you and your crooked spines. Actually, let me keep that out. You know what? I think that just slicing this down the middle is going to work just fine for the purpose for today because they're not, a spine isn't one completely long segment. It has, I'm going to say this wrong because I don't know a lot about anatomy. But they're like individual little bones to make the vertebrae. And pressing down on the sides actually gives the lip of the bone that it would realistically have. So this works pretty well. This may or may not be a new day, and today I'm shaking and I don't know why. So, you know what? Stop pointing out my shakes, all right? If I'm shaking, I'm shaking. That's crazy, I wasn't recording for that. Anyways, I'm rolling out some of these white balls into wormy dealy things, and then I'm just laying it across where there's empty little spaces on the nail between the vertebrae. And then I'm just laying that down. I think I got too close together for some of those spines. Actually, it's fine. I did perfect. I think now that the gel is warming up, it's starting to stick just a tiny bit, but I'm just dipping my tool in some more isopropyl alcohol and then using that to manipulate the little logs. I just realized that I don't know how many bones on a rib cage there are. Oh, the answer was I was under the amount and not over. So this could be semi-realistic, but not really. We're not going for realism. We're just going for interesting. So now, I don't know, I kind of really like this bone white, but I'm gonna still go over it with some silver just to see how that would look if I'd like it more, but I won't cure it yet. How do we feel about that? I don't know if I like it. Let's go just a bit further down. I can't tell, I don't know. I mean, it gives it some more dimension. What if I only did like an ombre ribcage, where I just kind of stopped there? I think that could be cute too. Oh, sorry. It's so... I can't tell. I think I do like it, but... Okay, I know that I just started, but this is already my favorite nail. Ooh, this is good texture. Love it. It's so I really wanted to do this eyeball. These are the ones that I picked out. This definitely changed though. I swapped the pinky and the point. Pinky? You are not a pinky. The thumb and the pointer. I think this was a good decision. I think that the spine being able to go down the length of the nail was absolutely correct. I I I think I will do the eye on the middle finger still, but the ring I'm gonna just change it out with the spider. Okay, so for the eyeball, I was going to use my eyeball stickers, but because I drew the ghost, I feel like it... Well, you know what? I drew the ghost, but I used stickers for the leaves, so maybe it would work. But I don't really have... Okay, I think I'm gonna still draw the eye so that I can match this color to the color of the eyeball that I want to use. So I'm going to go in with a white gel polish and just do the same thing that I did for the ghost, where I draw most of where the eyeball is going to be, a vague eye shape. I'm going to make it a bit larger because I want it to look like its lower lid is being pulled down. Because I have some, are they called jump rings? Oh, I can't remember what they're called, but I'm going to cut them in half and then use them to make it look like the lower lid is being stapled down. Next, I'm going to map out where the pupil is. Pupil is incorrect. Iris? I'm going to have it be looking up. The eye is looking up and the lid's being pulled down at the same time. Next, I'm going to go in with a glob of cat eye gel for the iris. And yes, I did Google it. It's called the iris, which kind of blows my mind that that's also a name. Isn't it kind of crazy how at some point in history, people were like, I'm going to name my children after body parts. Oh, you know what? I guess also the iris is a flower. That makes sense too. But that one makes more sense than the body part. Yeah, okay. Anyways, then we're going to stay with the red theme. So I'm going to go back in with my red jelly polish. It doesn't have to be perfectly within the lines because I'm going to be doing a 3D lid on it, so it'll be okay. After that cures, I'm going to go ahead and make a slit for the eyeball because we're still vampires after all, so we get creature eye. Because the eye is being pulled on, it's going to be a little irritated, so I'm going to go in with some red and draw really tiny lines. It's kind of burning my brain wheels trying to think of how to translate this into 3D because I need the eyeball to be shiny, glossy, and spherical. And also I need the bottom part that's being pulled to be fleshy and also a little concave. Hopefully this is a trust the process moment. So I'm out of my black model gel, but I do have this really deep blue one that's almost black, which will suit our need for it perfectly. And I also have this pinky one that I think I can use for the lower lid. And we'll kind of just work with that for now. I think I'm going to go in to the lower lid first. Actually, I'm going to make the eyeball, I'm going to encapsulate it with some gel. I'm just going to go pretty basic here, and I'm going to use my McCart glue. It's thick enough to, oh, that was, Anyways, it's thick enough to retain its shape, but also thin enough to level out pretty nicely. Or not retain its shape, but to not run a lot. Oh, I should have cleaned off a brush before I did that. Whoops. Ooh. Who told me to sculpt this eye? I just want to talk. Oh, almost done. I'm just going to put a matte top coat on it. Actually, I'm going to glue the jump rings down first, and then I'll add a matte top coat. That way I can have the underside of it just be matte, and I won't have to go in and try to do micro whatevers. Oh, you suck. Okay, you know what? That one's just going to be laying on its side. I love it. I don't know if he's a cutie, but he is there. That's what I say about most men. Anyways, that is the eyeball done, and now on to the speeder. Don't worry, I won't show you any photos of the actual spider that I'm using for a reference, but it is going to be a Black Widow, and I'm just going to first start this recording over. So I will be wearing these nails the entire week, so I initially wanted to do the spider as if it was sitting down, and you know how spiders have their little legs. I wanted to do them raised up, but I really want it to last this week, so I think I'm just going to do it as if it was like dangling down as a stereotypical spider would, with its front legs going forward and then its two back ones, well, it's 4 back ones because they have 8 legs going backwards. I'll just do it. I'll just do it. I'm going to top coat it first so that I can protect the base. This is like the only finger I did not top coat before I started working on it, or before I took a break. I don't know why. Something in my brain was like, actually, you're not allowed to top coat it, so suffer, I guess. And I didn't. I just suffered, I guess. Don't you love purposeless narration? Anyways, I do. It makes me giggle. Okay, I'm not sure how I want to do this. I've never made a 3D spider before, but it's gonna have a really thick booty, so I'm gonna do the body of it with some clear gel that we can clear all the way through. That way it can cure all the way through, or most of the way through. Honestly, it's on top of my extension, so I'm not worried about it touching my skin, so I don't really care if it cures all the way through, but you know, ideally if it cures most of the way through, it'll have a pretty sturdy structure and will last longer, so let's go with that. And you know what? Even though this is solid nail glue and it's marketed as being touch safe, no gel product is safe to touch, so never do it. Oh, even if it's going to be incredibly annoying. Okay, that's a pretty good booty. I'm gonna flatten it a little bit. I'm just dipping my finger in some isopropyl alcohol and push. Oh, you know what? I had a feeling that would happen if I did that. And I did it anyways. Okay. Okay, give me a second. I'll get that on. Sometimes you just have to lay down some nail primer to get things to stick. That is what it is. I just wash it with some Dawn dish soap at the very end to remove its tackiness. Well, I'm really glad that I'm painting this afterwards because this is rolling in all the nail dust that I have. I'm just gonna let that sit for a second. I'm just gonna shape it more into a teardrop shape because once I cure that, you know what? I'm gonna be big brain and say that this is the thorax, even though I feel like that's not correct. But if I'm right, wouldn't that be fun? Anyways, I'm gonna do this section and then I'm gonna do another more narrow opposite teardrop for the head, and then we'll paint it before moving on to the legs. I don't want to talk about how hard that was. That was crazy. That wasn't fun. So, you know, if you're going to recreate this, I recommend drawing this on and not sculpting it, because that was stupid. Okay, actually, the spider head was too big compared to the booty, so I had to take it off and then make a smaller one, and that's what it looks like. Now, don't mind the wrinkliness of the back, the flatness of it. I'm gonna dome it with some clear gel polish after I make the red little hourglass shape on it. But I just want to show you where I was now, because now I get to do legs. Yeah, you do legs. Okay, that is the spider body complete. It is so good. I have never sculpted something like this off of the nail before. I highly, highly recommend you use a solid nail glue, preferably the one from Macart, because whenever, honestly, no, yeah, because if I tried to use my hard gel, I fear these legs just wouldn't have enough bend to then stick them into position. So I recommend using a solid nail glue. The flexibleness of this glue made it so that I was able to cut and then bend it into position, and so that I had it where I needed to cure it into a position where it looked natural. And I'm kind of kerfuffled because of how difficult that was. There's gel everywhere. I'm going to take a break and come back to this maybe later or tomorrow, because that was a lot, and for what reason. But the way that I did it, hold on, let me use the white gel. That way you can see what I'm doing. This is about the size that I'd use for 2 legs. I would roll it out to about that size, and then I would cut it in half. And then I would, okay, put you down here. I would roll this out to a very fine point. Or you know what, as close to a point that you care to have, because this thing do be thangin'. That's not what I meant to say. I meant to say something else. I cut off the fattest part of it, and then put this aside because we're about to use it. Oh, why am I trying to make it perfect? I literally just did this. I would then cure it. Pop it off, and then it's firm enough to retain its shape. Yeah, I think the hard gel is a bit too hard to do this with. It doesn't really do whatever. But then I would clip it a little over halfway. You know what? The solid nail glue didn't do me like this. So then I have 2 pieces. And at this point, for the finer detail, I would take my tweezers, dip them in alcohol first though, so that it doesn't stick to me. And then I would take the little ball that I didn't cure, and I would lay it down, take the leg, press it into one side, and then take the other leg and press it into the other side, and then you have a jointed spider leg. Man, I'll be so honest with you, this is disgusting. I know that it's not real. I know it's not real, but oh, she feels real. I can't even, like, I can't even touch it. It's good. It's good, it's giving the desired effect, but oh my god, I feel so uncomfortable with it on my hand. I feel like it's going to come alive and touch me, and I don't like that at all, but it looks good. It looks good. I'm not gonna do the red booty on it. I've changed my mind. I need it to look a little fake, so I'm gonna put a stone on it. Put a stone on its booty. Just to like take me out of it. This, because it's not real. It's not real. Spiders don't have stones on their booties. Okay. That's cute. That's cute. Okay. Okay, we'll top coat it and then we're done. All right, and that is her done. I love her. She's a spider. Yeah, we're just gonna move on. I'm gonna clean up and like things happened over here. Don't ask me, but that's a lot to deal with. So I'll clean up, eat some supper, and then I'll be back to finish out the pinky, which I think is going to be very simple. That's why I'll just do it tonight. All right, back with day 4. Why did it take me this long to do nails? Actually, I have a very good reason. I gave blood, and I always have a very bad reaction to giving blood, and I was just not acknowledging it and powering through it. So I came back and I started doing these nails, and the beginning will now be a voiceover because, oh my god, I sound lethargic and dead. I kind of picked up my energy a little bit halfway through, but I sound like a zombie and it does not sound entertaining or fun. So I'm gonna record a voiceover for that and edit this and get it up pretty soon because for the most part, whenever I took my first break, like 2 days ago, I sent over what I had to edit and I was editing it and I was like, oh my gosh, who is recording this? Is this me? I did not sound like myself. So giving blood gave me brain fog. So I'm almost done. I could have probably finished it that same night, but I was like actively falling asleep while doing nails, and that's just not the best thing to do when you're messing with gel. So it's not that big of a deal. Anyways, I am going to just do some accessories on this nail. I thought about sculpting something else to go with these babies, but honestly, it feels a little crowded right now, and I still want it to be 3D, so I'm just going to use a bunch of charms, maybe even give it a little piercing so that we'd match. All I did just there is I did a layer of a top coat, and then I want to go in with my rhinestone glue. I like to do this while it's uncured so that it blends in more with the nail. So it's not like an obvious like ridge of glue. And I'm just going to put a glob of that in the middle. Because I have this cute little bone cross. And I was actually able to bend it to, can you see that? I was able to bend it to like the curve of my nail and it fits perfectly. So I'm going to use this. The only annoying thing about this is that, ooh, where's my brush? One thing annoying about this is that the bone is a little bit curved at the end because it's a bone, so it looks like it's off center even though it's like perfectly centered. Okay, I accidentally misplaced my little drill bit that I have that I use to drill holes in my nails. It's really fine, really sharp on its own, so it makes really fine holes, but I have no idea where it is, and I have this foreboding feeling like I'm going to step on it. We'll find it when we find it. That's a pretty large hole, which is sad. Should I just do one? Because if I do a second one with this big of a drill bit, it's gonna just crack the nail. I guess I'll just do one. That's so sad. Or maybe I could do one on the opposite side. That's annoying. Why'd you let me do that? Bag of jump rings. I feel like a smaller medium would be good. I think that could look nice, but I messed that one up. Okay, so I added a second piercing, and I think that was the right call. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure I am done with these nails. I'm going to just clean up a bit and do some final touches, and then I'll be back with the glamour shots. And these are the completed nails in sunlight. Now tell me which nail was your favorite. I realize now I should have asked if it was a simple nail design that you wanted because the comment was on a simple nail art video. So sorry, I got really excited and felt really extra when planning these out. So I forgot to clarify with you, but I have more nails coming soon. I've been getting some excellent suggestions that will get their own dedicated video all in good time. And anyways, that's it from me. Like and subscribe if you're into that sort of thing. I know I am. We listen and we judge here. Have a good day, night, wherever you are, whenever you are. And I will see you in the next one.